Good morning. This is Jamie from Blood, Sweat and Metal. Thank you for joining us, and it's an absolutely pleasure. Sorry, my phone just gone off with my timer that I had, so set me up for this Hangout update and to introduce today's guest. I just got off the phone with Anthrax. That's right. Unfortunately, no, not Scott Ian. No, not Joey Belladonna. No, not Frank Bello. I'm speaking to one of the newest, if you want to call it, members of Anthrax. I'm speaking with JON DONAIS. That's right. I spoke to him for 20 minutes this morning before I got into Hangouts here, and it's just great to see that Blood, Sweat and Metal are getting some of the bands that you want to hear me talk about, whether it's not the front man or most of the liked person of the band. I am a fan and approachable and talkative to any member of the band, no matter how big or small their fan base may be. I don't go for personal favourites. I do want to say this. I did put a request to speak to Scott Ian, but most importantly, I did say also I am willing to talk to any member of Anthrax. So I want to say thanks to John Howes and Nuclear Blast for allowing this opportunity to speak to one of my personal favourite bands, Anthrax. And we got a killer of an interview with you. John and I were going on about the upcoming album, For All Kings. As a matter of fact, I've just done an album review for Blood, Sweat and Metal. It's up on our Facebook page, but I'm going to read you some valid points out of that review. So just give you a little bit of a taste of what this new Anthrax album is going to sound like and going to be like for some of the fans. For me personally, it's a great album. The reason why I say is that by the time that you turn the album on, it's got the riffs, it's got the thunderous drums, it's got all the ingredients and elements for what Anthrax is known to do. And that is to play music and get an album out there for you and I, the fans, to buy. Right? We have got to raise up as fans to go and support this album, because this is going to be one of the top 5 albums of 2016, in my opinion. Whether I'm right or wrong, for now, it could be in the top 5. But there's going to be some old school Anthrax fans going to be a little bit disappointed about this, and I can get it. This may sound like the Bush era of Anthrax rather than the Belladonna era of Anthrax, but it's fresh, it's new, it's a new chapter, and this may appeal to the newer fan, and it may attract a new fan base coming on board to discover Anthrax, even though Anthrax has been around for 35 years, and For All Kings is their 11th album in their standard career. If I can be a fanboy or be one of those people who go, oh, this is a moment. I mean, I pinch myself when big opportunities come. It all comes down to hard work, dedication, putting time and effort into it. And no, it's not about talent. Even though I have got great talent, I can speak to the sun come down. I can talk and rave on many bands as I want, but that's only minimal compared to what my heart, my goal, my desire, my passion is all about, and putting reckless hours into this. I've got to say thanks to my partner who's been there from day one, putting time after time of editing and repolishing some things with my help, of course, but all the hard work behind the scenes here, allowing us to do not just the big bands, the well-known bands, but also those little bands in between. More on this new album, I want to say this, that Anthrax holds the Big Four name or mantle very close to them, but this music of For All Kings, it's not thrash, it's not alternative, it's not whatever genre of music that the fan may put it in. For me personally, this is heavy metal, and this punches you right in the face. Many will probably say that For All Kings may be a touch softer than what they're known for, or what they fan expect, and I truly get that. But most importantly, For All Kings, and for testament, it's a testimony from them to you. For All Kings has 11 songs on the album, and from the start, you get the ears bleeding for them, the onslaught they're about to deliver. And I want to personally say this. Sorry if I'm looking down, I'm reading my notes. It really feels like Anthrax are rallying in the troops for a massive onslaught. As a matter of fact, in October last year, Anthrax released their first single off For All Kings called Evil Twin. It's outstanding, and we, as a matter of fact, had played that song on our episode, whether before Christmas or just after. I know we played their second single off For All Kings, Breathing Lightning, that was released in January. We had played that on a recent, the very first episode for 2016. We played that single. But most importantly, there's some other songs on the album that you guys should really look forward to. Another song called Monster at the End. It's a total mayhem type of song. This delivers the killing blow to the fan. And also, two other songs, Blood Eagle Wings and The Battle Chooses, are two massive tracks that shows the listener, you and I, how much work, talent, and elements go into just making, not just making For All Kings, but with their passion, truly desires, and that is making the best damn album. Me personally, all the songs on the album are great. They going to sound monstrous when they play live as well. And John and I are going to talk. We had a talk, not going to, but in the interview, we talked about some of the elements of each song, who came up with this pattern, who came up with the idea, and what type of approach they themselves gave themselves before going into the studio to record For All Kings. Once again, thank you so much to the people involved for allowing me to interview another big band out there. And I've got to say, the tooth is slightly healing up. As a matter of fact, I told you in the last episode interview I've done that it chipped off, and I look like a pure Collingwood supporter now. But it is getting fixed up in 3 weeks' time. And please, you know, if you see me on the street or at a gig, don't make me smile, because if I give a cheeky grin, it's not to be offensive or whatever you may think. It's just that I'm a little bit still embarrassed by it too. But we want to introduce Anthrax. This is the first time Anthrax has been interviewed for Blood, Sweat and Metal, and we want to say thank you, John. Thank you, Chris. Not Chris. Say it again. Thank you, John. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Frank. Thank you to everyone involved. And please, once again, get down below, subscribe, leave us a comment. As a matter of fact, we have got people messaging me. Excuse me. Personally messaging me, giving their input on interviews and that. Most of the time, I don't have control on who I'm going to interview or what band I'm going to interview. They come at regular intervals, and in between, I start putting feelers out for those little smaller bands that I can get on board. But if your band of choice has not been interviewed yet, and as a matter of fact, I have done this for almost 2 years, so you've got to go right back to the very beginning. And as a matter of fact, go on to our Podomatic channel because some of the interviews are up on there as well. Please hold on for a sec, all right? Just if I haven't done your band yet, there's many days of the week or many weeks of the year or many opportunities in the year, whatever you want to call it, that could happen. It might not happen now, but it will definitely happen sooner rather than later. It's your interpretation of what soon is. It could be 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 months, whatever. It will happen when it happens. But I got my Eruption shirt on from Van Halen. My partner bought it a couple of Christmas ago. I'm going to crank up some old school Van Halen, get off here, and I'm going to write up a long list of reviews that I'm going to pump out in the next couple of days for you guys. But once again, thank you for showing your support for Blood, Sweat and Metal. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, Podomatic, iTunes, TuneIn, Plug-in, I Love In, whatever. And spread the name out. Here's the Anthrax members, John. I'm Jamie. I'm signing off. Listen to this interview, spread it out, and go and buy For All Kings when it comes out in the stores later this month on February the 26th. Buy a copy, buy two, buy the LP, the vinyl, whatever you want to call it, and most importantly, stay thirsty for metal. Gotcha. G'day, folks. This is Jamie from Blood, Sweat and Metal, and I hope you're all doing well. I am so thrilled to be doing this interview. We are speaking to Anthrax new member JON DONAIS, all the way from their side of the world to us, and I welcome John. Good morning from Australia, John, and good evening to you.
How you doing, man? Good.
Good, man, and I'm so thrilled to talk to Anthrax. Many people will probably want to speak to the other guys in the band like Scott or Charlie or Frank or Joey, but I'm willing to speak to anybody from the band, and I'm so glad to have you on board. But, man, For All Kings is just coming around the corner now. It's not long for it to be released. I have got the promo for that from Nuclear Blast, and thanks to the guy from Nuclear Blast. Man, what a killing album it is. It might be a bit different than normal. I want to be respectful and not be critical of the album because for me, I'm open to anything with new material. Many of the old school fans will probably consider For All Kings the Bush type of era, type of material, but with Joey on vocals. What's your opinion on that? Because you put all the elements that been in the band for 35 years, like the whole history of Anthrax been around for 35 years. This is their 11th album in their career. You've only been in the band for about 3 years now, but how do you go about that this might be a different chapter for Anthrax, but at the same time, bringing newer fans on board as well?
Well, see, with this record, I only did the lead guitar, so yeah. I didn't write the song. So I only did the lead. That was kind of my last audition. We did the touring together. They were happy with the way I was playing live. And then the last step was to see how I wrote the lead and then how I was in the studio. And I guess I passed because I'm still here. But I can actually look at the record as a fan because I didn't write it, so I don't have that attachment as the rest of the guys do. Mm. So as a fan, I could say it's an awesome Anthrax record. I think it's what I like about it is it's got a little something for everybody who likes hard rock and heavy metal. It's not a lot. I think a lot of modern metal right now, the band, they have one song and the whole record sounds like that one song. There's not a lot of diversity. With Anthrax, this record has all the songs have their own identity. There's some thrashy stuff, there's some mellow stuff and just straight up hard rock stuff. So I like the peaks and valleys that Anthrax has right now.
I mean, from what I got from the album, there's so many different elements. Like you mentioned, you got the heavy riff, you got the thrash, you got the everything in this album, and it's such a way to explore and to expand the boundaries, because you guys are not trying to recreate the wheel or trying to make another Caught in a Moth type of song or another Indian song. This is 11 songs on the album from top to finish, different than the other one, better than the other one, probably, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think that's missing a lot right now in a lot of metal records are just songs with their own identity and not trying to have 10 songs that are the same fucking thing over and over again.
Yeah. And that's what I get. I mean, there's some critical fans out in the modern society, and you can't please them all. I think the main reason is they fixate on just one thing, whether that is thrash or metalcore or whatever they may put that genre in. But when you guys go into a studio, you don't even think about what the criticism may come your way once the album gets completed. And for me personally, being a fan, I don't care if it's a little soft rock song or whatnot. This is Anthrax. You either like it or you don't like it.
Yeah, well for me, I could say when I write, I write for myself. I write what I want to hear, and I try to make it a reality. And with Anthrax, they do the same thing. I like everything. I like rock. I like soft rock, and I like death metal. So I like everything in between. So I don't care like if what people want. You know, like if they want. A lot of metal fans can be pretty harsh, and you know, once a band changes or has a different style song, they're quick to react and knock it down. But to me, I like that. I like when a band throws curveballs and you don't see something coming.
Yeah. Before we get into the album, I want to ask you a question. How was it for you coming into the band? How was the challenges for you? How did it all planned out? And how did you make yourself such a dynamic character in the band now, like knowing that you are the new kid on the block, so to speak?
Well, I got in the band because Rob, their previous lead guitar player, he called me up and told me he was quitting the band, and they had a couple more tours to do. And so he knew I knew the guys and we'd get along well, so I jumped in and I was just supposed to do 2 tours with him. And then they kept having more tours come up and more shows, and I just kind of stuck around. And they asked me if I wanted to stay full time, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, of course." I grew up on Anthrax, so it was crazy to be asked to be their lead guitar player full time. And then, like I said, the last thing they wanted was they're like, "All right, well, we just want to see how you write in the studio for the leads and just how you play in the studio." And that was it. And then I've been here ever since.
Yeah, and all credit for you, man. I mean, you earn your stripes, so to speak. You've not only just been a new member of Anthrax, but you've been in many bands leading up to Anthrax as well. And this is what goes back to, For All Kings, it's a standout album. And I want to ask, how was it for you coming into the studio, learning some new riffs and new tunes, but for songs like Monster at the End, Evil Twin, and Breaking Lightning, I mean, that was probably one of the heaviest riffs that Anthrax have probably ever done, Breathing Lightning. And I've heard some stories from the other guys about that. How was it for you going in there with this killer riff monitude that was created in the studio and then putting that into the recording type of pattern for All Kings?
Yeah, well, I knew they had killer songs because they sent me them to write the leads to. So, yeah, it was. I knew I had to step up the lead playing to match the songs, and going to the studio, though, it wasn't too stressful going to the studio because the leads were demoed out. They give me the songs, I demo them out, and then I'd send them to Charlie. And then if Charlie wasn't happy with a specific section or whatever, we'd get on the phone and we'd talk about it. Or I would jam other alternative parts with him, and he would just pick them out like oh yeah, like I like that. And so all the leads, I already knew what they were going to sound like, so it wasn't really stressful because I wasn't wasting time in the studio. I wasn't like, oh shit, I'm out of ideas and I don't know what to do. So I already knew what I was going to do, so the stress was gone. I just had to worry about executing it.
Yeah. And man, I want to talk about some of these other songs that I reckon they should be, in my honest opinion, singles later in the future, like Blood Eagle Wings, The Battle Choose Us. I mean, those two songs alone, with Monster at the end, it just shows how much the band has keep evolving as time went along. I mean, like I've mentioned, they've been around for 32 years. Each song on this album is a chapter of their own personal testimony, and you're being one of the members now. This is a personal testimony for you too. This got your fingerprints all over it. It's your DNA. I mean, this is
oh, sorry.
No,
yeah,
go ahead.
Like, yeah, this is.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that? Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure, this is. A lot of people who've never heard me are gonna. This will be their first time, so I worked my ass off on it as the rest of the guys, and I just can't wait for all the Anthrax fans to hear it, and hopefully they dig what I did for them.
But that's what I'm saying. This has got your DNA on it. I mean, this shows your craftsmanship, not only you, but with Scott, with Charlie, with Frank, and Joey on lead vocals. This is your DNA. This is a testimony. This is a different chapter of the chronicles of the history of Anthrax. I mean, like I said, this is going to obviously create some new fan base to come on board, especially the younger fans who haven't really caught Anthrax in their glory days back when they started. But this is a new chapter for you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's, rules is, you see in the younger generation getting the Anthrax, even at the meet and greets. There's a lot of father and son at the meet and greets now. The father's seen Anthrax a ton of times, and it's the kid's first time seeing Anthrax. So there's a whole new generation discovering the band, and that's exciting to see. It's exciting to see 15-year-olds again with, the jean jackets and all the metal patches. It's just cool to see that it's not dying and it's staying alive.
Yeah. I want to ask, how do you challenge yourself constantly when you do new material, especially while you're working with Anthrax? How's it like working with Scott, who's a magnificent, in my opinion, underrated guitarist as well? But how's it like working with those guys, especially you got Charlie on the drums, you got Frank on the bass. How do you all mingle together to be one united unit of Anthrax?
Yeah, it's crazy because it was like a transition for me going into the band. It was just so easy and getting along with everybody, and the chemistry just worked. And then working with them, it was easy. It wasn't anything that was a pain in the ass. And so I think both of us got lucky. For me to play with them and get along with them, and then vice versa. We have a great time. The band, they're top-notch musicians. So for me to be playing with these guys that influence me, it just, it's still mind-blowing. I've been listening since I was 13. So to actually be in the band and looking over on stage and seeing those four other guys, it's still, I got to pinch myself sometimes. So
yeah. I want to ask, what's going to be like for these songs to be played live? I don't know if you've been playing any of the new material yet live because the album hasn't been released yet, but what challenges or what perspectives that you think these songs off For All Kings will go over to the audience live, especially with songs like For All Kings, the title track. I mean, you guys can probably play the whole album if you wanted to in the next concert or two, because this is just a standout. This could be, in my honest opinion, probably the top 5 albums of 2016 at the moment. We don't know what the rest of the music world's going to bring out yet, but in my honest opinion, this is in the top 5 for now.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, but like right now we're doing 2 new songs, Breathing Light and Evil Twin. They've been going over great with at the Lamb of God shows. And obviously, you know, it's hard. The band's got a lot of classic songs and a lot of material, so there's songs that the band has to keep in the set list. So with all that stuff, it's really hard to write a set list. But for the future, I mean, when the headline shows come up, I'm sure more of the new stuff will get sprinkled in. But yeah, right now, like I said, with all those records and songs, it's hard to write a set list to keep everyone happy. Too, all the fans are like, you know, you always got somebody who wants to hear something. You can't make everybody happy.
Exactly. I mean, with a history of
32... Otherwise, the band would have to play like a Fish concert for 6 hours.
I mean, this is such a great thrill because you're right. With the 32-year career, how can you make the perfect set list? I mean, you have to drop a song or two, but what are you going to place it with? I mean, it's got to be so hard.
You're only allowed so much time, so
yeah,
it's hard. But and like I said, what are you not going to play Indians? You got to play that and Cotton and Mosh. There's certain songs you got to play and always play.
Yeah, I mean, this is just phenomenal because For All Kings, like I mentioned, it's got 11 songs on it. It goes from top to bottom, killer after killer after killer. Some people might not agree with what I'm saying, and I personally, I don't care. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. But with all these songs to make a chemical type of warfare, in my opinion, you guys are rallying the troops. You're going to smash us in the face. I mean, before this album got even thought of, you guys released a live DVD called Hell in Chile, and that just captured what the live spectrum of what Anthrax is. And then when the single of Evil Twin, that was when the name of the album was starting to throw around October last year. And now last month, Breaking Lightning has got released as a single as well. You must be thrilled with all the reception that the album is getting so far, especially the reviews so far that you've been receiving from not just the journalists around the world, but some of the fans who have listened to some of the songs already.
Yeah, the reactions have been amazing. There's a very positive vibe going on right now with the whole Anthrax camp. Everyone who's heard the record loves it. I just think things are going really well right now, and you can kind of feel this good energy happening, and just positive vibes all around right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're on tour at the moment. What's going to be the plan ahead for 2016 after the album gets officially released? I know there's a pre-party for that as well, like a listening party for the album over in America. But what's the plan for the rest of 2016?
Well, we're wrapping up the Lamb of God tour right now. Then we go home for 2 weeks, and then we're going out in March, all of March, with Iron Maiden to South America. Then after that, it's a handful of radio U.S. festivals, and then we do all the European festivals in the summer. Yeah. And then I'm not sure what's going to happen in the fall, but I'm sure we'll be touring somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not going to even ask if you guys are coming to Australia. I think I probably know what the answer is going to be, so I'm not going to even ask.
Yeah, we definitely want to come to Australia, so hopefully some promoters bring us.
Yeah, I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to ask because I know you guys are probably planning something out of my control. So I'll leave it as that. But for the fans there, please, when this album comes out, please grab a copy or two. Also, you can get this limited vinyl as well. There's a Blue Splatter vinyl that's going to be released. Please go and grab that too. I believe there'll be some other bundle packs on Nuclear Blast or whatever it may be. Please go and grab what you can. If you got the money, spend it. More money back into the music will be great. Don't go and download it. I mean, it's just crap. But, John, I want to ask, if you've got one last thing to say to the fans, what would you like to say to them?
Like I said, I could say as a fan, this is a tremendous Anthrax record, and I encourage anybody who likes hard rock or heavy metal, give it a few spins, give it a chance, and guarantee you there's something in there you'll like.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys take care. Continue on with the Till This Lamb of God. I cannot wait to see you guys one day back down in Australia, and give my cheers to the rest of the boys of the band.
For sure, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, man.
Bye.